This episode of the Sloopcast is brought to you by the Canadian Bbq Company. The Canadian Bbq Company is an Ohio-based company located in Cary, Ohio, where they say our seasoning will take your barbecue from good to great. Canadian will be at the Cary Ford in Cary, Ohio, this Monday from 10 to 2, as well as this Sunday, they'll be at the New Regal Food Truck Fundraiser in downtown New Regal from 2:30 to 5:30. Again, Monday in Cary, New Regal this Sunday. Check out the Mad Canadian social medias, Twitter and Facebook, to find out more information about him and his food truck. Mad Canadian Bbq Company, the official barbecue of the Cary High School Blue Devils.
This episode of the Sloopcast is also brought to you by the Iron Bean Coffee Company. The Iron Bean Coffee Company is an Ohio-based, marine-owned, premium small batch roast to order coffee company. Roast to order is one of the most important things here because the coffee isn't getting stale. You get those oils, right? Because a lot of what makes coffee are just the oils that come from the beans. So that's one of the reasons why doing a fresh grinding of the beans is so much better than buying it pre-ground, because when you grind it, you lose those oils. But another way you lose those oils is just through age. And I know the bag is sealed and I know all of that, but the fresher those oils, the better. So the closer you are to the roast, and therefore also the closer you are to the grind, the fresher, more flavorful a coffee is going to be. So what you don't want is your coffees sitting on a shelf for weeks and months on end, because it just loses quality the further you go along. So that's why you should, in my opinion, always buy your coffee fresh roast to order. And if you're not doing home grinding, if you're getting it ground by the Iron Bean Coffee Company, you're also still not that far away from your coffee being freshly ground, because it was literally just roasted, ground, and sent to you. And that's why you should always buy from the Iron Bean Coffee Company. The Iron Bean Coffee Company, America's local coffee roaster. What's up, YouTube? What is up, Discord? How you guys doing today?
Very odd not having Ohio State football. Very odd. But got to get some other stuff done over the weekend here.
Yeah.
In preparation to watch the second half of Ohio State season here.
Ooh, the second half. Kyle, does that mean we're in the mid-season?
We are. So
Kyle, let's give out some mid-season awards. I just now thought of that. I totally wasn't preparing this ahead of time.
Let's get into that.
Let's get into it. We've got barbecue back here. You're all invited. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing pretty well. How are you doing today, Jared?
Kyle, I have no complaints. That's about where I'm at right now. I think we're all good. I think everything's great, and we're gonna go ahead and grade the Ohio State football team, because this is our mid-season review. So we're gonna do a couple things here on Standard and Grade, which is the Monday episode of the Buckeye Sloopcast. We typically rank the Ohio State performance based off of the previous week. Well, we had no Ohio State performance this previous weekend. Therefore, what better time than to hand out grades for the season as a whole so far? And also, I asked our Sloopcats to help us with some awards. Maybe some superlatives might be a good way of describing that as well. So they made up a bunch of weird categories. And so I have only kind of looked at them. I have not looked at all of them in detail. So I think that'll be the second half of the show. First half of the show, we're going to hand out some grades. So Kyle, let's quit screwing around and get to handing out some grades.
All right, sure. So where do we want to start? Do we want to start just giving out each position here, grading for the season as a whole?
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with the offense here. So I just pulled this up here for you, Jared, so you should have it here. So the offense here, just rankings for the entire season so far. Ohio State offense, number 1 in points per game, number 1 in yards per game. Let's see, number 3 in rushing yards per game, and number 5 in passing yards per game too. So offensively, right now, Ohio State's just clicking on all cylinders here. You can't ask for much better than what they're doing right now.
Yeah. The offense as a whole, I think, is, I don't want to say they're exceeding expectations. So one of the things we like to do on the Standard and Grade episode is we like to acknowledge that we grade based off of expectations, which means, take the offensive line and the wide receiving crew, two strengths that we knew were going to be Ohio State's strengths coming into the season. We're going to grade them tougher than we grade CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud, redshirt freshman, never played legitimate snaps at Ohio State or anywhere in college for that matter. So we're going to grade people based off of expectations. So Kyle, let's talk about CJ Stroud, or I guess maybe just the quarterback room in general, but CJ Stroud. Our expectations coming into the season, like before one snap was played, was cautiously optimistic. Is that a good way of describing our preseason expectations?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So had a bit of a rough start. So if we're talking like the first quarter of the year, below expectations, or maybe not even below expectations as much as it was just being a freshman, doing some first time things. But he's come on incredibly strong as of late. He's starting to look comfortable and efficient. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to give the quarterback room an A.
Yeah, I agree too. Looking at CJ Stroud compared to the country here, out of the quarterbacks who've played 5 or more games, CJ Stroud is number 4 in passing yards per game. Doing such a stellar job right now, taking care of the ball. 18 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for the year. Had a rough start, as we all talked about, and everybody griping about him, but he's finally settling in. Got that week off. Got another week off here to get himself ready for a very, very tough second half of the season here.
Oh, for sure. One of the things, the competition's going up in the second half of the year, but he's played better against better competition. That's probably worth noting. But yeah, I think he just has momentum now. He has comfort now. He's not in his first 2 or 3 starts anymore. And I think that's the biggest thing with CJ Stroud, is that he actually has some experience under his belt.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Jared, let us do the running back room.
Yeah, running back room. It's so we didn't start off the season with Henderson, but that's certainly where Ohio State's at now. The quarterback, the running backs in general are doing great, because we can talk about Henderson and how good he's been, and he has been. He's averaging over 100 yards per game, and that's not per start, that's per game. He has played in all 6 games, but we all know he didn't play as much during the first couple as he is now, right? So,
yep.
But even then, if we look at Mayan Williams, he's averaging 7.8 a carry. When Mayan Williams is ready to return to Ohio State, that's an amazing second option.
Yeah, it's crazy, and he's ranked currently here. What was that stat? You said 7.8 yards? Oh, no, 8.7.
Henderson's 8.7. Mayan is 7.8.
Which, if you look here, that puts Henderson number 2 right now in in average yards per attempt, and then that would put Williams at 7th. right now in the country. So you got the number 2 and number 7 running backs in terms of yards per carry.
And by the way, like, let's not completely slouch on Master Teague either. He's almost 6 yards a carry as well. He's a very, Ohio State fans want to hate on Master Teague all the time. He's a very, very good running back. He's just probably he's not probably, he just isn't the best running back on the team. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. There are Ohio State teams, say within the last 10 or so years, in which he would have been the best guy on the team. That's just not this team, unfortunately, for Master Teague.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So overall, I'm going to give him an A.
I'll give him an A as well. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, the receivers here. The receiving core. What else can you say other than giving them an A? Just stellar team here. They've not giving them an A+. There have been some times when they... Nomad
there have been
some
drops
plus right there. There were some drops, and even in the loss to the Oregon game too. But these last few games, I thought they pretty much caught everything that's comes to their possession there. Yeah, I'd give them an A. Yeah,
again, so I want to state this again. If we were just doing plain rankings, they would get an A+ because they're amazing. But I'll reiterate it. It's fine. We're grading based off of expectations. So the expectations for the wide receiver room were up here. So it's actually almost impossible to give them an A+ because the expectations were so high. How do you surpass those? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, absolutely. So yeah, just looking here, what are they averaging? 91 yards per game for Wilson, 82 for Olave, JSN with 75. As just a stellar offensive or stellar receiving group we have here.
Absolutely. And it's just everyone, all of the wide receivers with 4 or more catches have at least 15 yards per reception.
Yeah. All right, tight ends here, Jared. I'd probably give
Buckeye Zach. I'd love to see it. I would love the opportunity to see it.
Tight ends here, Jared. What would you get the tight ends? I'd probably give them an A- for the year.
I was thinking more like a B+. I think drops. Ruckert's dropped a couple. Stover's dropped a couple. I think they've done an excellent job blocking, and that's a big part of being a tight end, and they absolutely deserve credit for that. From a receiving standpoint, a disappointment. And is that their fault? Is that Ryan Day's fault? Is that Kevin Wilson's fault? You know, whose fault is it that there's not like actual statistical production? I don't know, but I think we were expecting Ruckert to be an integral I can't speak tonight, Kyle. Part of the offense for Ohio State. But that's just not proven to have been the case. He's only caught the ball 11 times. He's averaging 20, I'll round it up and say 28 yards a game. It's not what we were expecting. Yeah, integral. Thank you. I just couldn't, I know how to, sometimes my tongue gets away from me. But yeah, and it's not even necessarily like Ruckert and Stover's fault that this is what's happening. Or it might be, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is they aren't producing in the receiving game the way we're expecting. So
yep.
I'd say a B, a straight B.
All right. The slobs, Jared. What would we give the slobs here? So statistically, they are number 20. They are ranked 22nd in quarterback sacks. Very good for the year. I think, especially as of late here, yeah, I'd have to give the slobs an A as well. Giving Stroud time to throw, to scan the field, to be able to get to his talented wide receivers, and as well as opening up those holes for Henderson and Chop and Teague as well.
Yeah. It's you can't look at it. Go everyone rewind and re-listen to all of the numbers I gave for the running backs and realize that the same offensive line produced all of those numbers. Kyle just pointed out the number of sacks this year, only 4 on Stroud. That being said, the expectations were sky high because of the amount of returning starts and recruiting stars and everything else along the offensive line. So once again, I'm just going to go a straight A and not an A plus, just because, again, the expectations were so high. I don't know how you exceed them. And I don't think they have exceeded expectations. But I think this is the exact offensive line we were wanting. They are now anyway. They didn't have a good game against Oregon.
Yeah.
So it's hard to give them an A plus because the expectation for them was so sky high.
Yep. All right. Moving on to the defense real quick here, Jared. Defensive line.
Let's split it. I want to split that into D tackles and D ends because the story is so different.
All right, let me do that. So DT, let's talk about the DTs first. Let's talk about the tackles here. I'd give them
A plus.
Yeah, I'd give them an A. I think just
I'm giving them the plus.
Now I would give them an A plus if I'm rating them the last 3 games here, an A plus plus plus. But beginning of the year, those first few games, not as stellar. But these last few games, oh boy, really really good. That's why I'm not giving an A plus, just an A.
I'm gonna give them an A plus. I know they had some trouble with the rushing game in the first few weeks, but I don't think you can put all of that on the defensive tackles, although they certainly get some of it. Ohio State was still trying to figure out their linebackers and their play calling on defense and everything else. So I'm not going to blame the entire rushing defensive issues, especially considering like Oregon was killing Ohio State through the ground, but where were they doing it? They were doing it on the outside mostly. So I'm giving the defensive tackles an A plus. They've totally exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, agreed. Now, defensive ends.
Not meeting expectations. B minus.
I think you're being generous. I'd give them a C. I would give them a C for our expectations from what we were expecting to see from these defensive ends here. Not doing all that well. Not doing that well. I'd give them a C here. Love to see more pressure coming from the outside, getting the quarterbacks to be a little bit more worrisome, to be on their heels, trying to get rid of the ball quicker, just not seeing it to the level that we were hoping to see. So
yeah,
C.
More of the pass rush has come from the interior defensive line than the defensive ends, which is not what Ohio State's defense is designed to do.
Yep. Linebackers, Jared.
So here's a situation in which our expectations coming into the season was probably, if quarterback was cautiously optimistic, I think with the linebackers, we were just cautious.
Yes.
I don't think there's any optimism. I don't think there's any pessimism. I think it was just straight caution. So while the linebackers have not been perfect, and they've certainly not been great, we are grading based off of, again, where our expectations were. So I want to give them a B plus. They were lousy at the beginning of the year, but I think we were expecting that to a certain degree, having basically no return starts in the linebackers. Maybe it's down to a B. If our expectations were, because have they actually played worse than the defensive ends? No, they haven't.
No.
But again, expectations matter here. So maybe a straight B for the linebackers.
Yep. That's what I have down here. A straight B. The first few games, again, seemed like that everybody was able to run on them at will, but these past few games here, boy, they've really stepped up on the rushing attack there, or the rushing defensive side of it. Currently ranked 37th in the country, but that's just getting better and better every week.
Well, and one of the other things that I think confuses this is Ronnie Hickman. is Ronnie Hickman a linebacker or is he a safety? Because he's been maybe the best among the best players on the.
Nomad's right. Yes is the answer.
I think Buckeye Zach is right because he says yes and no. So you bump that grade up a little bit if we're including Ronnie. Maybe it's up to a B+ or even venturing on an A- if you count the bullet, in this case mostly Hickman, as a linebacker.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll stick with B, and for our fellow fans in our live chat here, A+ to the fullbacks. A+ to the fullback position.
Okay, you know what? That's fine.
All right, corners, the cornerbacks here.
Again, expectations. Expectations.
I'd probably give them a B as well, probably with the expectations too.
I gotta go higher.
I gotta go B right now.
I think it's an A-, maybe a B+, maybe an A-.
Maybe I'll trend more of the B+ just because of the defensive touchdowns that the DBs have been able to produce this year.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll bump them up to a B+ because of that.
Man, Denzel Burke is quickly moving into put him on an island, lock down the field territory. He's a true freshman. Cam Brown coming back with the Achilles injury and performing better than I thought he was going to be able to this early in the year. Cam Martinez is coming around very quickly. I think maybe once Seven Banks really gets up to speed, I think the corners are exceeding my expectations by a lot this year. So I have to give him an A-.
Okay.
Again, a lot of that based off of how low the expectations were coming into the year.
Yep. All right, and then the safeties here. I'd probably give the safeties a B+ as well. Maybe an A-.
I will give them an A- if we take into consideration that Proctor's out. If we don't take that into consideration, maybe a B. Because losing Proctor's huge, right? So I don't know if they're. Again, it just sort of depends upon if we give them some partial credit for the fact that the best, most experienced safety on the team was lost. Was it week 2?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if you take that into consideration, I'll give them an A-, B+. If we don't take that into consideration, a B or a B-.
Okay. And special teams.
And again, as Buckeye Zach points out, depends upon where you count Rocket Hickman.
Yeah.
You bump it up a little bit if you count him as a safety.
All right. Special teams, I guess an A. They haven't missed a field goal, haven't missed an extra point, no costly pump blocks or anything like that. Give them an A.
Yeah, and I think the returning game is showing promise, even if they haven't housed one yet.
Yep. Agreed. All right. So that is our grades for all of the positions here. So let's go ahead and do a quick ad break here, Jerry.
Yeah, we're going to do an ad break, then we're going to come back and we're going to give out some individual player awards.
All right. The Mad Canadian Bbq Company, mentioned at the top of the show, a barbecue company with an amazing food truck that you can catch this week, this Monday, up in Cary at the Cary Ford between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. And as well as this Sunday, October 24th, at the new Regal Ford truck fundraiser. I think I'm starting to see a trend of which brand he's liking here, at downtown New Regal. And that is from 2:30 to 5:30 again this Sunday. Miss any of that or want to catch up on more information about the Mad Canadian and his food truck, hit him up on social media, up at Twitter or at Facebook. Just search Mad Canadian Bbq Company and you'll find him and all the information you need from him. with that, go ahead and check them out and let us know what you think of them. The Mad Canadian Bbq Company, who are the official barbecue of the Cary High School Blue Devils.
This episode of the Sloopcast also brought to you by the Iron Bean Coffee Company. Iron Bean Coffee Company is a Ohio-based, marine-owned. We already did all that, right? But I did not mention that all of their beans are fair trade certified and USDA organic. Let's take a look at an individual. Let's look at a coffee here. I feel like maybe we haven't talked about the Fear No Evil in a while. So let's talk about that one. The Fear No Evil is a black roast. That's right. We aren't talking about a dark roast. We're going one step further and going into the black roast. The Iron Bean Coffee Company took their highest quality, most floral Arabica bean and carefully roasted it to the brink of flames. They monitor it with all 5 of their senses to ensure that this rich, black, dark roast is void of all light. The sheen is like polished armor. The feel is like cocoa butter. It has a smooth feel. The smell is exotic, smoky, and rich. It's what else can you say? It's a great coffee. Like all of their beans, it's fair trade certified and USDA organic. The body of the coffee has a heavy creamy texture, which is rare for a coffee grown in this region, which is a part of Indonesia. So you can find that coffee, but you can also buy a whole lot of more coffees. That's right. You can buy that and a whole lot of other coffees over at ironbeancoffee.com. That is Iron Bean Coffee, America's local coffee roaster.
All right, Jared, let's get to some mid-season awards here.
All right. I have not seen most of these, so...
that's more than me. So, all right, Austin Formation. Let's start it off. He names it the Kyle Award. As Kyle looks it up, which player do you look up the most?
Which player do I look up the most? Like looking up their statistics, or maybe I'm practicing how to say their name. Neoteote is a name that I have had to look up how to say on more than one occasion. So that's always one. I think I was looking up a lot of CJ Stroud statistics early in the year to try to prove to everyone that that he was in fact good, despite what everyone else was trying to say. I don't know. I'm gonna give it to Neoteote simply because I had to look up how to say his name on several occasions.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'd probably go with JT. I think JT probably is similar, like with what Jared said there. Some other ones too.
Tu'imo Ma'au.
Yes. Probably Henderson as well. I probably put Henderson in there too, just because of how little of carries he's had, but yet he's had such a monstrous first half as well. So I have to take double looks at his stats. I'm like, wait, he has that much rushing yards? Wait, really? So I'd probably go with Henderson as well.
All right. What's next?
The Esquire Award. Player who has made a better argument this season for a future NFL career.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Which player has opened up the most eyes to the NFL, or maybe has reignited potential NFL conversations? I think Jeremy Ruckert might be one, because I think one of his big knocks coming into the year was that he was not a sufficient blocker, and I think he has fixed that. Like Wilson Olave, I think had high expectations coming into the year. I don't think they're necessarily improving their stock. I don't know. I don't know if there was anyone on the team whose reputation needed mended per se.
Maybe Yeah, I think I got one from Gangland. Kind of stole mine. Maybe Dewan Jones. I think really has helped him out this year, and he's only a freshman, so I'm not going to say that he played better because this is his first year. But man, Burke, Burke's really
Yeah.
really making a name for himself right now as a true freshman.
Well, and yeah, and I think that's probably more fair to say than Henderson because Henderson came in with such amazing hype
Yeah,
and Burke maybe didn't. He wasn't even the most highly rated cornerback in Ohio State's class last recruiting cycle. So
all right.
I think that's Kyle. I'm actually going to go ahead and change my answer. I think you're right. I think, yeah, I think we're
All
going to
right.
give it to Denzel Burke.
All right, let's move a little bit quicker here, because we got a lot of awards here. The Gangland Award. What player has looked the most drunk out there? Made plays that you're like, what? How did he do that? Oh, I was going to go the opposite way. I thought it was going to be the opposite way of like, what is he doing? That's a terrible play. But he went the complete. He went the complete opposite way there. How did he do that? Um,
Let's see. I think when I think of that, I think a lot of maybe Cam Martinez, only because he keeps popping up in real weird situations, getting interceptions,
yep.
doing stuff like that. I think might be the first name that pops into my mind with that in place.
Yeah, I like that. My
Oh,
only thought.
what about Tyleek Williams,
Oh
as Buckeye
yes,
Esquire just pointed out?
that's a great one. That's a great answer, Tyleek Williams. Yes, the Nomad Award. What player came out of nowhere to help the Buckeyes? Tyleek Williams. Tyleek Williams and
Uh,
Burke.
sorry, but I think you are. Which player came out of nowhere? Denzel Burke, we had no expectations for, and is all of a sudden the best cornerback on the team.
Hmm. The Sun Card Award. What player has been the model of consistency for Ohio State this year? The
I Petit
Wilson.
Ferrer,
Wilson.
yeah, Wilson. Um, I think Petit Ferrer would be a good one. By the way, Luke Whippler. Again, you want to talk about like all of a sudden you have a new center, and oh yeah, we got there about the same time, Nomad. Um, yeah, I think I'm going to give that one to Luke Whippler.
Yeah, agreed. Like how many bad snaps have we seen? I can't count one. I can't remember one.
I think there's maybe been one or two or something like that. But yeah,
All right, man, we got a lot. We got a lot here, Jared. So
let's keep going.
all
Just
right,
keep going.
Savior Award. All right, Savior Award. Which coach or player is felt to be given this nod?
So like, what about Matt Barnes? All of a sudden takes over the defensive play calling from out of nowhere and is doing
Yeah,
a hell of a job doing it.
yeah, we can do that one. I'm good with that. The
No, Buckeye
badass.
Zach Whippler is a C.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a
Uh,
joke. It's fine.
the badass award. Whom do you perceive as the most improved player of the season at this point? Ooh,
Is that how we take the word badass? The badass word. Most improved. So you want to go like from week 1 till now? I think might be a decent way of gauging that. I think Cam Martinez looked like a complete liability, and now he looks really great.
yes, 100%.
Burke looked, I won't say like a liability, but Burke didn't look good in week 1, but is looking great now. CJ Stroud has made huge steps since week 1. I'm going to
Yes,
say
agreed.
CJ Stroud.
Okay, I'm good with that. Composure Award. Which player has been able to sustain their calmness on the field and perhaps even off this season?
Um, Actually, let's go ahead. That one has to be Stroud too. I think that one has to be Stroud too. So maybe let's go ahead and give Cam Martinez or Burke the Badass Award, and then we can give the Composure Award to CJ Stroud.
Okay. Leadership Award. Which player or coach deserves the title of midseason leader?
So I think we immediately take Ryan Day off of because he just is the leader. And then I'm seeing the chat is ahead of me on this thought process. Gary Combs.
Yes.
Here's a dude who put up with a lot in the public sphere of Ohio State, and for him to accept what is essentially a demotion, but handle that with class and leadership and dedication and humility. Kerry Combs deserves so much credit for handling what was a bad situation for everybody, himself included, at the start of the season.
I don't know this answer here. Media Award, best player or coach interview so far this year.
Oh, that's also
no, actually Combs. Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
That's also Kerry Combs. Yes.
The Keith Byers Award, longest play from scrimmage that ends with only one shoe.
Henderson had a one shoer this year, didn't he?
That. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He did,
all right.
yes.
Henderson gets that award.
The Boston Award, which wide receiver showed their talent and consistency at this point in the season? I think Wilson at this point.
If we're talking, the word consistency is key there. If we're really going to lean on the word consistency, then yes, it's Wilson.
Honestly, there's an argument for JSN. There have been times when Wilson, like, in his hand and drops it. You're like, how did Wilson drop that? He like never drops a pass. But JSN, I don't really recall that many that he drops. But Wilson, the back there at punt return, has shown a lot of composure back there. There was a time, Jared, if you remember, a number of years ago when we were scared to death anytime that we had a returner trying to catch a punt.
He's really good at just like doing a fair catch and catching the ball, isn't he?
Yes. The Hawk Animal Award, the best linebacker. Cody Simon?
Cody Simon, unless we're counting Hickman as a linebacker, then it's Hickman.
Okay. The Fuller Award, after the fall of Proctor, who has stepped up at safety?
I think we're going to go ahead and not count Hickman here because we are absolutely talking about a true safety. I'm going to say probably Ransom.
Yep.
I'm going to say Ransom.
DBU, who is the more consistent and best cornerback? It's got to be Burke right now.
Again, consistent being a very important word there because Cam Martinez took a little bit longer to get around versus the beginning of the season. Brown has missed some games due to injury. 7 was just missing for the first few games, and no one still seems to be sure why. Proctor got hurt. The only consistency in the defensive backfield this season has been Burke.
Yeah. Tressel Award, who deserves the nod for mid-season special teams action?
Does anyone? I mean, I guess it would have to be the long snapper because we don't know his name, and that's a good thing.
What about? I mean, he hasn't scored a touchdown, but man, these last couple of weeks here, about Becca.
We can't give it to him now, but maybe if we revisit these awards at the end of the season, maybe.
Yeah. The Dabo Award. Who's made more of an ass for themselves this season? There's only one answer to that.
Go ahead and say it.
Yeah, it's Pope.
Yeah, let's not. It's Pope, but let's not linger on that.
All right, the back alley bullets. Which 1-2 player would you want with your back alley street fight?
Dwan Jones and Haskell Garrett.
Yes. Yes, I I second that. I second that.
Yeah, there's no...
DeJuan Jones seems like that kind of guy that would just be there to back you up at every step of the way.
Well, but not only that, but DeJuan Jones is the best type of fighter. And I say that because all he has to do is show up and the other people are just gone. Yep. Like, why would be sucking up to gangland? Like, anyway, yeah, no, it's absolutely DeJuan Jones because he ends the fight before the fight even starts.
Yeah. All right, Jared. Buckeye Esquire put this question in, so is he in the chat here?
Yes,
he is. All right, the tasteful side boob.
Okay, the tasteful side. I want to see the trophy.
Name a player that you've liked what you've seen so far, but really want to see more of it in the second half of the year.
God damn, that's funny. The Evan Pryor, it comes to mind right away. I want to see more. I want to see more Steel Chambers at linebacker.
It's hard for this person to see field just because of how great our wide receiver crew is.
Yeah.
But what I've seen on special teams, Bbq though.
Yeah, Emeka, I think, is a good answer for this. I think I'm going to stick with Steel Chambers at linebacker because I think he's like the one guy who's not currently starting who I would like get up on a soapbox and start yelling and screaming that he should be starting.
Mm-hmm. The Alex Trebek Award. Name 3 players and 1 coach you'd want on your bar trivia team.
Okay. Oh man.
I feel that Larry Johnson would be that kind of guy that just has an abundance of knowledge to know pretty much a little bit of everything. So I would go with Larry Johnson as the coach.
Kyle, can we look up GPAs? Is that a thing we can look up? I know Jack Miller is supposed to be an incredibly smart guy. Not Jack Miller, Harry Miller, the center. Maybe Jack Miller is too. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe Thayer Munford, only because he's been in school for so long. Like he's has to have picked up something at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, Harry Miller's notably very intelligent. Let's go Thayer Munford because he's been in school so long, and then maybe the same thing again, being in school for such a long time. Maybe to Haskell Garrett.
All right, sounds good. Is that all the questions here? I think that's. Nope.
No. We still have 5 more. Or 6. 6 more. Do you need to keep scrolling or something? You just did Buckeye Esquire. Then there's a block from Stewart, and then 1 each from Buckeye Zach and Austin.
These are just questions here. So these are just questions now.
That's fine. We're still doing Ask Sloopcast.
All right. Is Stroud holding McCord back from being an true All-American Heisman candidate?
Yeah. He is. I mean, fact of the matter is that he is.
All right. How many nose nuggets does Harbaugh store away in his mouth for safekeeping?
That depends upon the volume, and how many hot dogs he currently has in there, and how much milk he drank that day. So there's too many variables to answer that one, unfortunately.
All right. Pick 4 players on this team and give them creative finishing moves for Mortal Kombat.
All right. Let's see. I think that Jack Sawyer saws them in half. Just gonna pun on his name there. Rocket Hickman straps them to a rocket, sends them to the moon, or maybe it blows up in mid-atmosphere. Steel Chambers just straight up shoots the guy with a steel bullet, because of course. Let's see. I need one more. DeJuan Jones literally just crushes them. Just crushes them into the ground. Was that 4?
Yes. Who's been the biggest surprise, Barnes or Combs?
Barnes. We were watching and waiting to see what was going to happen with Combs this year based off of what happened last year. We were giving him another chance, and like he came. Yeah, Matt Barnes is the bigger surprise.
Yeah. Oh, missed one here. The Heisman Award. Heis being H-I''S. The player who likely gets the most greetings when they walk into the locker room.
I'm going to have to give another one to Dwan Jones because, how do you miss him walking into the locker room?
Yeah.
Like, you almost have to do like a bit of a safety high just to be like, hey, hi, I'm here. Please don't bowl me over.
Yeah. All right, last question here from Buckeye Zach. McCall starts at quarterback in the West Point Wildcat quadruple option. Do we consistently win by 80?
No.
No. All right. Wow, we are way over on time here, but that's okay. We're having fun.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and end today's episode, Jared.
All right. We're way over. Visit. Just come hang out with us at the Patreon store or Patreon. $3 a month gets you everything you want on Patreon. All the digital assets you want. Patreon.thesloopcast.com, and come hang out in our Discord server. You can see I'm barely tweeting anymore. It's because I'm in the Discord server. It's more rewarding, more fun, and considerably less toxic. Come hang out in the Discord server. Discord.thesloopcast.com. Kyle, do you have anything in Kyle's corner?
Buckeyes are the early Vegas lines here has Ohio State as a 19-point favorite. Would you take the points?
Yeah, I'm picking Ohio State.
I agree. What does everybody else think? What does everybody else think in the chat? Would you take Ohio State over 19? Let's just say 18.5 there. We got a yes, we got a yes. And yeah. All right, we got 4 yeses there.
Kyle, before we go, I need to know, what is Pitt versus Clemson? What's the line there?
Ooh.
Because we were talking about that a lot during the social screen.
Let's see. You want to guess it? You want to guess it real quick?
No, we're way over on time.
Hit by 2.
Ooh.
Pitt by 2.
Gangland was expecting it to be much higher, and I told him he was crazy. Pitt is favored over Clemson. Everyone, let's take that into consideration. That's the thought we're going to leave you with tonight. So with all of that being said, tonight's ending music is by a Columbus-based band called Mr. Moon, Mister Moon. You'll find links down in the description. YouTube people, if you want to hear the song along with the audio people, go down in the description. There's a link to the song. Podcast people, you can just hang around. It's coming straight to your ears. Just don't do anything and it'll happen for you. So with all of that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course support your local podcasters. Once again, this is Mr. Moon.